The upfronts are traditionally a time when TV networks showcase their fall schedules and new shows to advertisers and the media. But in recent years, the industry shift to streaming has reduced the importance of unveiling a fall lineup and promoting new programming at the upfronts, as some networks didn't even bother to release their fall lineups or trailers for new programming. One of the reasons for this change is that streaming platforms have disrupted the traditional TV season cycle, releasing new shows and episodes throughout the year, rather than following a September to May schedule. Streaming platforms also have more flexibility and control over their content, allowing them to experiment with different formats, genres, and lengths. Streaming platforms also have access to more data and analytics, which help them tailor their content to their audiences and advertisers. Another reason for the change is that streaming platforms have become more attractive to advertisers, who are looking for more targeted and measurable ways to reach consumers. Streaming platforms offer advertisers more options and opportunities to integrate their brands into the content, such as through product placement, interactive ads, or branded content. Streaming platforms also have lower ad loads than linear TV, which means less clutter and more engagement for viewers. As a result of these trends, some TV networks have shifted their focus from broadcast TV to streaming and digital video at the upfronts. For example, Fox plans to present a portfolio of their content which includes the broadcast network as well as Fox News and Fox Sports. Tubi, their fully ad-supported streaming video service, will participate in the new fronts earlier in the month. Similarly, NBC Universal will showcase its Peacock streaming service alongside its linear networks at its upfront presentation. Disney will also highlight its streaming offerings, such as Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+, at its upfront event. On the other hand, some TV networks have opted out of the upfronts altogether, preferring to hold smaller and more personalized meetings with advertisers throughout the year. For example, Paramount decided to forego the annual event this year, citing the need to be more flexible and responsive to the changing market conditions. Paramount, and before that CBS, had long held its upfront at Carnegie Hall. The upfronts are not dead yet, but they are certainly evolving and adapting to the new realities of the TV industry. As streaming platforms continue to grow and compete with linear TV for viewers and advertisers, the upfronts will have to find new ways to showcase their value and relevance in a crowded and fragmented media landscape. One of the most anticipated events of the TV season is the upfronts, where networks present their new and returning shows to advertisers and the media. But sometimes, these presentations can also spoil the fate of some of their current shows, especially those that are on the bubble or have low ratings. This year, we saw several shows get cancelled by their original networks, and unlike previous years, most of them have not been saved by other platforms or networks. In 2020, for example, we saw shows like All Rise, Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, Timeless, Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Lucifer find new homes or wrap-ups after being cancelled by their original networks. All Rise moved from CBS to OWN for its second and final season. Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist moved from NBC to Roku for a holiday movie. Timeless moved from NBC to Netflix for a 2-hour finale. Brooklyn Nine-Nine moved from Fox to NBC for its last 3 seasons. And Lucifer moved from Fox to Netflix for its final 3 seasons. But this year, things are different. Many of the shows that were cancelled in 2021 have not been picked up by other outlets, despite fan campaigns and critical acclaim. Some of these shows include Rebel, ABC, The Republic of Sarah, The CW, Generation, HBO Max, The Crew, Netflix, Good Girls, NBC, and Lovecraft Country, HBO. Some of these shows were cancelled due to low ratings, creative differences, budget issues, or COVID-19 complications. Others were cancelled because they did not fit the vision or strategy of their networks or platforms. So why are we seeing fewer rescues this year? There could be several reasons. One is that there is more competition and fragmentation in the TV landscape, with more streaming services and niche outlets vying for viewers and content. Another is that there is less incentive and flexibility for networks and platforms to save shows that are not owned or produced by them, especially if they have to pay high licensing fees or share revenue with other parties. And finally, there is also the possibility that some shows are simply not appealing enough to a large or loyal enough audience to justify their continuation. Whatever the reason, it seems that TV fans have to brace themselves for more disappointment and closure this year, as some of their favorite shows will not be returning or getting a proper send-off. And while there is always hope that some of these shows might find a second chance somewhere else in the future, it is also important to appreciate and celebrate the shows that we have now, before they are gone too. One of the biggest challenges facing the TV industry in 2023 is the ongoing Writers Guild of America strike, which began on May 2, 2022, after the Guild and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers failed to reach a new contract agreement. The strike has affected hundreds of scripted shows across broadcast, cable and streaming platforms, as well as late-night talk shows and sketch comedy programs. The main issues of contention include higher minimum pay, expanded span protection, better workplace standards, and fair compensation for streaming residuals and artificial intelligence-generated material. As a result of the strike, many TV networks have had to adjust their programming strategies for the fall 2022 season. Some networks have opted to renew their existing shows early and stockpile scripts before the strike began, hoping to have enough episodes to fill their schedules until a resolution is reached. Others have relied more on unscripted content, such as reality shows, documentaries, game shows, and sports, which are not affected by the strike. Some have also acquired foreign or library content to fill the gaps in their lineups. However, these measures may not be enough to sustain the networks for a long time, especially if the strike drags on for months like the previous one in 2007 to 2008, which lasted for 100 days. Some networks may only have a fraction of their pilots delivered and screened for consideration by then, which could limit their options for launching new shows in the fall. This could make the fall 2022 schedules look very similar to the fall 2021 ones, with few changes or surprises. The strike could also have a lasting impact on the TV industry beyond the fall season. It could affect the development and production cycles of future shows, as well as the quality and diversity of storytelling. It could also change the viewing habits and preferences of audiences, who may turn to other forms of entertainment or discover new platforms and genres during the strike. The strike could also alter the balance of power between the writers and the studios, as well as between the traditional networks and the streaming services. The TV industry is facing a critical moment in its history, as it grapples with the challenges and opportunities of the streaming era. The Writers Guild of America strike is adding another layer of complexity and uncertainty to this already dynamic and competitive landscape. How the strike will end and what its consequences will be remain to be seen.